What's up, guys? Today we are going through every operator in Rainbow Six Siege and talking all about what are the best attachments to have on every operator in Rainbow Six Siege. I know with SiegeX starting in June, a lot of people are going to be coming back to this, and I'm going to help you guys out if you're a newer player. And we're going to go through and go through all the attachments. Let's go to it. Here we have Striker. I like the magnified, flash hider, vertical grip, laser. Honestly, don't think you can go wrong with that. LMG, I would probably stay away from the LMG. I don't have that set up, but then you'd run the shotgun as well. We're doing best attachments in a loadout. So for Striker, he's going to be a little bit more confusing because he does have a kind of a little bit of a weird loadout. I like to run frag grenades whenever I can, but if I'm trying to run a solo breach thing, I might go EMPs and a breach. If I'm going pure entry, I would go maybe a frag grenade and a breach, or a frag grenade and like flashbangs for a lot of entry stuff. So, Sledge. You got the M59 shotgun. Don't recommend using that. But there you go. And then the L8. There's no reason not to run this setup. I don't know why you wouldn't. It is a really good gun with an ACOG. And then pistol. I mean, suppressor. Why not? Thatcher. Boom. Basically same. Mostly the same. Same L8 situation there. Same shotgun situation. But then you have the AR-33. I mean, if you're a Flores Savant and you just go Thatcher here and there and you just want to use what you're used to, I kind of get it, but I don't have my Thatcher gun set up, so I will set it up right now. Boom. Flash hider, boom. Vertical grip. Laser, because I want to make an aggressive play occasionally. Boom. Ash, G36C. No real reason not to run this setup. I like to run laser on a lot of my guns, because especially on the attackers, because it helps me get a little bit more aggressive, because I can ADS it faster, because you will be doing an aggressive play here and there. On the defenders, there are some guns that I won't do that, and there's some I will. R4C. So this gun, a little bit different. You can either run an ACOG or you can run a 1X variant. It is honestly up to you. Both are pretty good. I've seen them both kind of go nuke. So flash hider, vertical grip, laser. And then obviously, you know, I prefer the pistol that does more damage, because, I mean, how often are you really bringing out a pistol? And then breach charges or claymores, depending on what you plan on doing. Most of the time, you're going to probably run breach. The thermite. I don't know why I have the shotgun equipped, but here's the shotgun. And I'm going to equip that right there. Magnified, flash, vertical grip, laser. Like I said, I run laser on a lot of my attackers. Just be mindful of where your laser's actually at. So, okay, Twitch, a little bit more difficult. The F2, I mean, you can try to run an ACOG if you want, but this is a extremely difficult gun. Without the vertical grip, it recoils like a truck, so up to you. You PC players are probably going to opt for the 417, because it is probably the best DMR in the game. Muzzle brake, vertical grip, laser, magnified. It has really slow ADS speed, so you can run no laser if you just want to hold angles for 9 years, but I like to play a little bit more aggressive, so again, that's why I run laser. Montaigne, pretty easy one here. Boom, P9. Easy enough. Muzzle, laser. No point in putting a suppressor on it. It's like putting slippers on an elephant. I like to run a hard breach most of the time, because a lot of times I'll, like, you know, I'll need a breacher with me. Little old glass. Hollow, muzzle, vertical grip. And I actually won't use a laser on glass, because I will be holding angles for 9 years glass with my gun, ADS. But the bearing, I will run a laser, because this is when I plan on going crazy, going nuke and running in there, and actually making an aggressive play. And then you have grenades or smokes. Honestly, up to you. You might have to bring smokes if you're solo trying to use glass, but I used to bring frag grenades and just have somebody else use smokes, like a Monty or something. Boom! Fuse. Here's the fuse shield. I mean, whoops. Here, let's go through the pistol first. I mean, I like to use the pistol. It does more damage. Make it a little bit easier. Primary gun that I would use would be the AK. The AK has been nerfed, but, you know, it's still probably one of the best attacker guns in the game. Flash vert, all that fun stuff. LMG, I mean, you could rock the LMG. You can rock an ACOG or 1X. I've seen both used effectively. It's up to you, but the ADS speed and reload speed is atrocious, and it makes you even slower. As a 3 armor, you're losing a lot of speed already, so you're going to be slower than molasses as fuse, but that's up to you. I'd run the AK, though. Blitz. I mean, one option. Here it is. Not much to say. But when it comes to smokes and breaching charges, honestly, his blitz, it really depends. If I want to smoke off an angle so I can push something else, I'll bring smokes. If I'm more direct horizontal push. If I work a little bit of vertical, like helping clear out the roamers, and I still want something to work the vert and open up a castle or something, then I'll bring a breach. IQ. She's a lot of decent guns. I think, well, the gun I'm probably going to isolate is probably the AUG. I don't think there's a reason to really bring the AUG over the Commando. The Commando is just a more stable gun. I don't like the AUG if I can help it. So here it is. If you like it, there you go. The Commando, flash, vert, laser, magnified, obviously. And the G8, I've seen people rock the 1X. I've seen people rock the ACOG. Honestly, it is up to you. This I definitely would use a laser on because you are kind of getting up in there and swinging. You're not really holding angles with the G8. You're just like kind of going in hard. So, and then pistol, suppressor, because, you know, IQ. I mean, you know. Our ability works. Build Buck. Honestly, Buck hurts. He hurts my soul because I actually really like his DMR with the skeleton key combo. You can like snipe long range and then use a skeleton key for like angles or like to kill someone really quickly if they're close. I really do like that combo, especially with how much damage it does. But his AR is so damn good. It's hard not to just run the AR because it's just gonna be better than most of the time anyways. Here it is. One option for the pistol. I just have muzzle brake on it. And then flash or claymores. I like to play Buck more entry focused. So I bring flash just kind of clear somebody out. Little old Blackbeard. Hot topic on Blackbeard. Okay, so 2 guns. SR25. I don't recommend using this because the ADS speed on Blackbeard is already really slow. And this is going to be even slower. And it doesn't 2-shot some operators. MK17. A lot of options here. You can run ACOG if you want to be more of a passive Blackbeard holding angles. A 1X if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, but you still don't like running iron sights. And then iron sights if you just want to be able to ADS as fast as physically possible so you can kill someone. And then laser for sure on Blackbeard. You need a laser on Blackbeard or the ADS speed is going to be even worse. Yeah, I know. Vertical and flash. I like to run a 1X on this. And then obviously, claymores or grenades. Bring grenades when you can. Easy, easy, peasy, peasy. Capital. You got Para. Boom, boom, boom. This is gonna be the trio. I'd probably look at all the attackers, but I will show every gun just to show every gun. The LMG, I mean, I like to run LMGs with 1X because I don't trust the recoil with an ACOG. And then I like to run Gon 6 because a little bit more utility clear. I like to play Capital more like a Swiss Army knife that I can just deal with whatever I need to. Maybe, you know, hard breach charge so I can open up a breach. And then Gon 6 to destroy like a Nizami or a castle or something. And then fires and smokes. He's a lot going on, so. Ibana. The Type 89. Boom, 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 boom. Vertical grip, flash. The Supernova shotgun. Honestly, I've seen a lot of people play Hibana and actually use the shotgun effectively. I have in the past, but I don't rely on this as much as the Type 89, so there's that. And then this is an obvious one. Barry 9, of course. Flash or breaching charges, honestly, it really is up to you. Most of the time, 95% of the time, you're going to bring stun grenades. There's a 5% of the time where you're going to bring breaching charges if you don't trust people to help you work vertical when you open up a hatch. Little jackal. You got a lot of decent options. Oh, sorry. You got 2 decent options. Don't use the shotgun for your trolling. C7E. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, sir. Really good gun. My primary focus, mostly. The PDW is not a bad gun in terms of fire rate. It's the same. It's the same, honestly. You just really have mag capacity and ADS speed. But I like having that extra damage just for like the stopping power. And I feel like most people would agree with me not running the PDW over the C70. So that's just my thoughts. And then secondary shotgun to open up lines of sight, vertical, whatever you need. Because he doesn't have any of the stop destruction, so you kind of need to run the shotgun. And smokes or claymores. Most of the time, as Jackal, I will run smokes. But, you know, there are times where I might want a claymore when I play Jackal. For like a hop-out or something. Ying. Okay. Here we have the Ying shotgun, the 612. Can be good with a Ying aggressive play. It's not horrible. It's not a horrible idea. But the Type 95 is going to be a lot better in every situation versus the 612, which is going to be useful in some. And here it is, flash, vert, laser. I mean, it's an LMG, but kind of not. But it still does affect your movement. The shotgun doesn't. Oh, in fact, I think the shotgun actually increases your mobility speed. I actually need to double check that really quick. No, yeah, the shotguns actually increase your mobility speed by like 5%. Didn't know that until just now. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. All right, then you got breaching charges or smokes. Ying, if you're hitting the site more direct, you're gonna probably bring the smoke grenades with the candelas going off. It's gonna be hell in a handbasket. A hard breach charge if you do want to work some vertical. Yeah, we're making a YouTube video. I do read chat, but I'm kind of trying to get through every operator in the game right now, so I'm trying to go as fast as I can without missing things. Sophia M762, definitely what I'd run. It is definitely a shell of its former self, but this LMG, I don't really find it's ultra reliable, and I don't like putting negative 10% movement speed on an operator that's already slow. So I would probably stay away from the LMG. Pistol, boom. And then claymores or breaching charges. Honestly, most of the time as Zofia, you're probably bringing claymores, but she does have that hard breaching option if you do want to play Zof, but you do want to open up a wall. Doki B. Better. All right, MK14 or the Bosch-G. I know you console homies love your Bosch-G, so, you know, boom, boom, boom. I don't tend to run a laser on this because a lot of times with Bosch-G you are holding angles. I don't want them to see my laser. MK14, I will run a laser because, yeah, you'll be holding angles too, but I tend to play a little bit more aggressive swinging into things. So I want to be able to ADS as fast as I can with the DMR. DMR's ADS pretty slow. Secondaries, C75. I mean, statistically wise, I prefer this gun, but I hate the iron sights, so I run SMG-12. Here's this. Iron sights, of course. Then you have the Gon 6. I mean, Gon 6 on Dokkaebi is tough because she does have a decent secondary that she can use to be aggressive because she is an entry operator. So Gon 6 is a little bit harder. And you have smokes, EMP impacts, or stun grenades. Most of the time, you are going to run either stuns or EMPs. EMPs for the wall, and you can, you know, it takes time for your calls to even like come back to you at the start of the round. So you can help the hard breacher open up the wall and then go do your Dokkaebi thing, or you can just, you know, be pure entry and go flash grenades. You can run smokes, but I don't think Dokkaebi is the operator that brings the smoke grenades for the round. You got line. The V308, boom, 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 boom. Easy enough, simple enough, really good gun. This is a battle I have with line every time I choose him. Do I run this assault rifle or do I run the DMR? If you're a PC player, honestly, you're in the same boat as I am. It's really hard to choose between these two guns because the DMR can be really good. But the assault rifle isn't a bad gun. It's just, this is the best DMR in the game. And this assault rifle's not the best gun in the game, but it's pretty good. So it's really, you can't really go wrong with either one. And then you have the shotgun if you're trying to be a troll. There you go. Then you got pistols. I mean, revolver, I just hate using revolvers. They just recoil like crazy. So, oh, pistol, boom. LP9. And then frag grenades, whenever I can run frag grenades. The laser will expose your bot. It will expose your locations if you hold angles like too aggressively. Which is why I highly recommend, if you don't really know cross-up placement super well, maybe not run a laser. But, you know, as an attacker, I like to kind of punch in as like hard, so I don't really care if they see my laser because I'm usually swinging in after if they would even see it in the first place. But if you are more of a passive player, you might not hurt to take lasers off. Lasers are definitely an attachment that I will change in and out, depending on the round, depending on what I plan on doing. Boom, boom, boom. But I wouldn't change vertical grit, magnified, or flash header on the spear. And then here's the laser. I mean, you guys see me run around like a crazy psychopath as Finka. I definitely run laser on that. The LNG is also a pretty decent gun, but you're definitely playing more, a lot more slowly and more angle holdy. I still run laser on this because I hate the ADS speed, and it just helps out a bit. It's like 10% difference, 15% difference, and the ADS speed is horrific otherwise. So there's that. And you got the sausage. I mean, I probably wouldn't run a suppressor because it's like putting slippers on an elephant doing this, and look how long it is. People are gonna see you coming. That's why I tend to not run suppressors on shotguns like this. I would just run something like this. There you go. Pistols, more damage pistol, boom, and then grenades, of course. Little Mavy Mav. You got the AR-15, which is 2 browse DMR, which isn't a bad DMR, but he does have the M4. The M4 actually is a pretty decent weapon. So boom, 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 boom. And then here's the AR. I don't run a laser on that because that's how I run on 2 barrel. All right, here's the pistol. And you got flash, smokes, claymores. I bring flash because sometimes it's hard getting a wall without getting nitro when you're Maverick. So I will throw a stun grenade over the top sometimes. So makes it a little bit easier for me. Nomad, one of my favorite operators in the game. Here's the AK-74. I don't enjoy this gun. Not much else to say about that, but I love the AR-X. Here it is. Boom, 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 boom. And I do really well with this. So, hell yeah. This pistol, I want to like it, but it has so much recoil with that scope. So I would just run the PRB, which you will end up having to pull out occasionally if you run the AR-X as 20 bullets versus 40 bullets. And then stun grenades or breaching charges. Vast majority of the time, I'm going to run stun grenades because I'm going to be playing Nomad like an entry. You got Gridlock. You got the F90. Boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3. The SAW. I run a 1X. I'm not a massive fan of using the SAW, but because the F90 is actually a really good assault rifle in terms of stability. Secondaries, I mean, super shorty, stop destruction, can't go wrong, and you can actually kill with this depending on the distance. And then no reason not to run Granados. You got little knock. I like to run a suppressor, just kind of playing into that style of knock being silent. I can control it. It is a little bit trickier, but it wouldn't hurt you to run the muzzle or a flash hider if you were having a little bit more trouble running the F90. So. But I do like putting suppressors on knock. And then you got 2 options. You got 5.7 if you are trying to rely more on the pistol to kill people, and you got the deagle if you wanted to use the gun to make lines of sight really quick. And I would run suppressor on them both because again, I'm playing knock. I'm trying to be sneaky in some capacity, so I do like suppressors on them. And then frag grenades because why not? Amaru. Couple options here. You got the G8, which isn't a bad gun. I would not run that. Flash, laser, vertical. ACOG if you are going to have distance, but hollow if you are going to be like jumping right into the thick of it, right into the fight, and having to just kind of whip it around as fast as you can. And this shotgun, again, same situation as the 1X on the G8, but this is a little bit more close encounter. I do run the suppressor because by the time I don't really want them to really know that they're getting pumped in the face. I'm like slamming into them as fast as I can. So I would just, but I don't want them to like be like, oh, it's obviously a shotgun. I want them to be confused for like another second. If you run the G8, you should run the secondary shotgun for utility. But if you run the Supernova, you should run the SMG-11 because it is a good, decent weapon to use in a clutch situation. It already has pretty fast ADS speed, so I don't run a laser, so I can hold an angle. Heartbeat charge, flash grenades. Heartbeat charges aren't bad if you want to open up a wall or something for your team, and then or you want to work it yourself. Stun grenades if you maybe want to flash before you fly in like a psychopath. Little Cali. I mean, not much else to say there. And then pistols, definitely run the SPS. Boom, boom, boom. I want this thing as fast as possible because after I snipe for a bit, I want to be able to run and snipe somebody and rip someone's head off with that. Claymores, I usually burn Claymores on Callie because she does have that utility to take things off the walls and destroy utility anyways, but I don't want to get ran out on while I'm sniping, so I usually bring Claymores. Ayana, my old main. ARX, no reason not to. G36, I mean, still a good gun. You can't really go wrong picking either one. I prefer the ARX because the stopping power is insane. Gon 6 to destroy some type of utility so you're not completely useless. And then smokes or EMPs. Honestly, could go either way here. Smokes, if you're with your team in some capacity, you need to smoke something off or smoke off an angle while you push. And EMPs, if you are kind of working as a secondary thatcher and you want to be able to drone afterwards. Ace, easiest one I've done so far. AK-12. Boom, boom, boom. M10 shotgun. I do not recommend M10 shotgun as ace. That's psychotic that he even has it. AK-12. P9. And then claymores or breaching charges. A lot of times I'll bring claymores, but you know, again, if I am working some type of vertical presence, I will bring a breaching charges, or if I need to destroy a castle. If I have nothing to really claymore during that round, I will bring breaching charges. But most of the time I'm going to bring claymores. Little 0. A little bit tougher here. You have the MP7 with an ACOG or this SC. I mean, the MP7 isn't a bad gun, but this is actually a really damn good assault rifle. If it was on any other operator other than 0, most people would flock to this gun. But people love the MP7. ADS speed's nice, everything. And you run a little bit faster. But the SC is just a really damn good assault rifle. So, recommend that. Gon 6 for utility destruction. And then 0, honestly, dealer's choice. Most of the time, you're going to probably run a hard breach, but you could run claymores. Honestly, it's about a 50-50 coin flip, depending on what you plan on doing during the round. You got floors, AR-33, boom, boom, boom. Simple enough. I have the SR, which I don't plan on really ever running, but, you know, there is the option to run it. Don't recommend that. The AR-33 is a really good gun. Here's a GSH. And then claymores or stun grenades. Most time it's floors. I'm going to bring claymores because I need to use my drones. Flash grenades if you are going to be safe, like or outside or something. OSA. 5.56 or PDW. I like the 5.56 because I like the range stopping power, but the PDW can be good if you plan on having people get pretty close to you, but you're losing a lot of damage on that. Here it is. I mean, you guys seen that all before. Seen that all before. There you go. PMM. And then grenades, claymores, impacts. I mean, only real choices are the EMP impacts or the frag grenades to me. EMP impacts if you are working with a hard breacher and you need to open up the wall. Frag grenades if you know you can get the wall open with a grenade or it's unnecessary to bring the EMPs for yourself. Grenades are always the better to pick of the two. Sens POF 417, the best DMR in the game, or the POF, which is actually a pretty okay gun. When I play Sens, I'm playing a lot like kind of like Ying in a way, playing something really aggressive and just like kind of going in really hard. So I tend to run the POF, but if I am playing more angle holdy, I will run the 417. Honestly, I would swap between these two, but I don't play that much Sens, so dealer's choice on that. SDP, and then I would run grenades because I love grenades, but you could run a breaching charge, but I love grenades. Grimmy, one of my favorite operators in the game, the 5.52 Commando. Or the shotgun. If you want to run double shotguns and be a psychopath, go for it, but I don't recommend doing that. And then you have the bailiff. No reason not to run the bailiff. I've clutched up around with the bailiff. You guys will see me get a kill here and there with the bailiff because it is actually kind of nice to be able to, you know, someone's right around the corner. You have an ACOG on your gun, and it'd just be faster to hit fire someone with the bailiff. All 5 shots. It's like a shotgun, so I like to use the bailiff to kill people when I get close, especially when I beat somebody out. And then you have the option between claymores, breaching charges, and impacts. EMP impacts. I bring claymores because I'm setting up a situation where I'm going to not have my gun out. I'm going to have the B launcher. So I like to bring claymores to kind of protect myself for a second while I do that. Brava. Oh, what happened to her? She's seen some shit. The para. or the cameras. No real reason to run the cameras. If you're not going to run on Buck, why run it on her? The Para is a fairly decent gun. Here it is. Her DMR isn't bad, but again, it's just one of those. The Para is good. Why even bother? Super Shorty, of course, for the lines of sight in the destruction. And you have Claymores or smoke grenades. I'm going to be on my cameras quite a bit as Brava, so I like to bring Claymores. But she can be good with smokes if you're kind of doing it in a safe spot. Because, you know, you are going to be a little bit later in the round than your team. So having smokes to, like, kind of finish off the execute might not be a bad idea. RAM. You have the R4C and the LMG. Here's the LMG. I don't recommend running the LMG. That being said, R4C. Here you go. All you console players love playing RAM just for the R4C. Throwing a RAM through a window and just hopping in full speed. Pistol. And then obviously flash or stuns. Oh, sorry, flash or smokes. I run flash because, you know, I do have the R4C. I want to be a little bit more aggro. And flashes kind of help you just take that initial gunfight if you know, if you have to. Here's the Deimos. AK, not my favorite gun in the world, but it is a decent little backup gun for Deimos. Or you have the shotgun, the smoke mute shotgun, the M59. Honestly, I've seen both be played, and I've seen success with both. Honestly, dealer's choice. If you're really good with a revolver, shotgun's not a bad idea to work vertical. Or just, you know, if someone's close range, I mean, you can pump somebody down. It works out a lot. And then you have the Vendetta. I like to have the laser on it because I want to be able to whip that thing out as fast as possible when I'm ADS with somebody. And then grenades. Why not grenades? You know? Why not grenades? And you have Rarara. You got the 417 or the LMG. You run the 417. Of course you run the 417. Here's the LMG. Her Reaper pistol, her pistol in terms of fully auto SMGs is definitely a weaker one of the full auto SMGs, but it's not bad. Here's a suppressor and a laser. I ran a suppressor on it because I actually found that the recoil was a little bit more controllable with a suppressor. I'm not sure if that's a glitch or that's fixed, but like I found it's a little bit more controllable with a suppressor. Feel free to test that out for yourself, but if not, run a flash header. Or a compensator. Honestly, I would run everything except the muzzle brake. Compensator, if you plan on going full auto, just dumping the mag as fast as you can when you're trying to kill somebody. Flash hider, if you want to be a little bit more, pick your shots a little bit more. And suppressor, if the recoil pattern is a little bit better for you, try that. Breach charge or smokes. Kind of an execute operator. A lot of the time you are probably going to bring smoke grenades for executes, but breachy charges if it's like castles or something. And that is all the attackers. Now let's get to the defenders. We got a little sentry, the Commando 9. See, this is when now you're going to start seeing some operators not have lasers. And honestly, you can run lasers if you want, but like as a defender, you are holding angles for a while, at least for me. So unless I'm picking an operator that I plan on being extremely goddamn aggressive with, I won't run a laser. Here's the M870. Kaboom. Actually would run a laser on a shotgun just to get that ADS speed a little bit faster. And then you have the Super Shorty or the C75 Auto. Most of the time you're probably going to run the Super Shorty just for the sight setups. Pistol is not bad. This SMG, I should say, isn't bad, but sight setup. If you're not, and then you got a plethora of options. You can run double nitro and impacts. Isn't necessarily a throw thing to do. You can run deployable shield nitro. Honestly, the only real two combos I would say would be impacts and nitro, deployable shield and nitro. No matter what, I would run a nitro. If you just really want to slow them down, like with like barbed wire and stuff, you might be better off picking a different operator. So, Smoke, the king. FMG9, you see that I have no skin on this weapon. That's because I never use it, and neither should you. But there it is if you want to ignore me. And then you have the shotgun. That should be your bread and butter of smoke. And then again, you can see which one I use slightly more. Here's the pistol. I have nothing set up. I'm not even going to bother because you should be running SMG 11 anyways. Here you go. Run laser. So I just want that thing to ADS as fast as possible. Same with the shotgun. Then I got the barbed wire just to slow them down a little bit because you are kind of the sight holder. You got the mute. Got the MP5K. Not really a gun I highly recommend because you have no real setup otherwise. So you can run this, but I would probably honestly steer clear and just run the smoke shotgun. Yeah. And then SMG 11. You guys have seen this before. Yeah. I don't play much mute because a lot of times when I'm playing either like solo queue style or I'm playing with a squad, but kind of playing like I'm almost solo queue. And I don't tend to really rock 3 armor operators unless they're like grid block and I can like really watch a ton of things at the same time. So, and then I run a nitro, of course. Why would I run a bulletproof over a nitro? Ha! I'm not crazy. You're crazy. The UMP on castle. Boom. So this one I kind of struggle on with having a laser because I do like to hold a lot of angles and the ADS speed isn't bad. Sometimes I'll rock a laser depending on the situation. If I plan on moving around a little bit more, if I plan on really anchoring down and holding a position, I won't run a laser. So M10 shotgun, I don't recommend running that. And then the super shorty, you definitely should run this. Because you can use this to defend yourself. If you're in a corner and someone's swinging you can kill them with it and you can set up the sight. And then you have the option between a bulletproof and a prox alarm. Prox alarm is a little bit easier to use, especially if you're a solo queue player. But bulletproof's not bad if you are playing with a team and you just want to have control of an area. Like a little mini Valkyrie for yourself. The old pulse. Couple options that aren't completely troll. Here's the UMP if you just want a solid gun that can, run around with. Boom. I do run a laser because a lot of times it's pulse. I am moving pretty fast running around. And then the M10, I'm definitely running a laser. This is if I'm trying to shotgun something through the floor, probably. M45, I like the M45. The overall stopping power is going to be a little bit more reliable than the 5.7 going for headshots. For me, at least. And then, why are you pulse and not playing nitro? I mean, I'm not even going to entertain these other two. Your pulse, play nitro. Why the hell are you bringing a shieldless pulse? No. Doc. Couple okay-ish options. I've seen people go nuke with the shotgun. I don't recommend the shotgun. It can work, though, in a clutch situation, potentially. MP5 is going to be your bread and butter gun, as Doc is going to be the easiest gun to use and the most reliable. But you also have the P90. Compared to the MP5, it does a little bit less damage, has a little bit more ammo, and the fire rate's a little bit faster. Well, why not run the P90 always? Well, MP5 is a little bit more reliable, but the P90 isn't a bad gun. I've seen people go nuke with this, but everybody's different. It's up to you if you want to run that. And it says you run it slightly faster with the P90 because I guess it has a built-in angled grip, but it is what it is. I'd still run the MP5 personally, but P90 is not a complete troll. And then run the bailiff to set up the sight. And then barbed wire or bulletproof. Most of the time, barbed wire, things that you can leave and forget are always going to be better most of the time. Now you got Rook. P90. Basically copy pasta of what I just said about Doc. MP5 still going to be a bread and butter. Shotgun you can in a clutch situation. Pistols, I mean, you don't got a bailiff, so you run the P9. And if you're Rook, I would probably run impacts because you probably need to set up at least something or like have the potential to do, make something because you don't have anything else. So I'd probably run the impacts. That's just me. Capcan. You got one primary weapon, the 9x19, which is always going to treat you right. Or you got the sausage. Again, I don't recommend having the suppressor as a defender, especially. Look how long that gun is. If you're hiding in a corner and you got this gun sticking out, people will see it. So that's up to you. Dealer's choice. And you have the PMM. Then barb or bulletproof. Capkin, I tend to run around the map quite a bit, so I like Barb just to kind of like, help hold more things. Capkin, you can really hold a lot of the map because of your traps that will kill people, and your barbed wire to really slow them down. So Capkin is by himself can really make and break a defense lineup occasionally. So Capkin. Tachanka. Okay. I have some thoughts. Here's the 9x19. It does have an ACOG on Tachanka though. But in my eyes, you're not a true blue Tachanka player if you're not running the LMG. Like, why are you playing Tachanka if you're not running the LMG? I just don't get it. He's the LMG. Boom. Just hollow. So the LMG actually is not a bad gun. I like to play it like it's a DMR. And you can use it to make sight rotations, lines of sight, and everything, and open up the floor. Like, it destroys a lot of shit. So, I mean, there you go. Barry 9, because why not? If you're tired of using the LMG, you just want to, swap to something that you can kind of spray somebody down. It's a good little secondary option. And you have the choice between Barb, Shield, procs. A lot of times Tachanka, I'll bring a shield. If I really plan on playing Tachanka for a certain situation, like a consulate yellow door window hold, I would bring a shield just so I can sit behind it and keep shooting my fires. But yeah, there you go. Yag. The M870, not a bad shotgun. The one thing I hate about the M870 shotguns is that a lot of the time that you only have a pistol as backup, so you really have to really ride or die that close range firefight potential. But then you have the carbine, which is an extremely damn good SMG. That I'm not really sure. Well, actually, it's an assault rifle. Not that many people like playing anymore. The meta kind of shifted, and people don't like utility that's just placed in. But like Jaeger can still be really good, especially because that many people actually really play Jaeger anymore. It really stops the momentum of a push. P12, and then you have the bulletproof or an observation blocker. I tend to not rock with the observation blockers as much as possible, so I would run a bulletproof for intel. Bandito. Yes, sir. Ooh, new animation I haven't seen in a while. What the hell? You got the MP7, which is a solid little setup. I love this gun. You'll see a lot of people in solo queue picking Bandit just for the MP7, and they won't even play using the shock wires at all. But the M870, honestly, the M870 isn't a complete troll on Bandit because he is fast and you can really close the distance. And if you're like tricking a wall and a wall gets open, you can maybe run out the wall and just pump someone in the face with it. A lot of decent options with that. P12, and then Nitro, of course. Now we got little Frost. Yeah, the 9mm. It is really good. I actually run extended barrel on it because it is a gun that has almost no recoil, so I like to make it just do a little bit more damage. If you want to run a suppressor to make it silent, you do you. I just wanted to make it just hurt as much as possible when I'm shooting people in pixels. There's everything else. The Super 90, I don't recommend running this, but, to each their own. If you're a psychopath, go for it. Then you have the ITA for sight setup. I hate using this shotgun, but for sight setup, it's good enough. And then deployable shield or bulletproof. Most of the time, you're going to run a shield because, Frost, a lot of times, I actually will play Frost if an enemy team is like really running a lot of shield players on attack, or I just need to bring a deployable shield, then I'll play Frost because Frost is probably one of the better operators that has a shield. Now we have Valkyrie. The op that is always banned in every game. Hollow, flash, vert, laser. Love the little MPX. Is super good gun. You have this Spaz 12, which isn't a bad shotgun, but I just don't see the reason why over the MPX. Then you have a Deagle. Deagle is really useful for making quick little lines of sight or just like little holes you can see through. That, not a shotgun, but it kind of works like a pseudo one. And then Valkyrie, no reason not to run the Nitro. Impacts if you plan on being a little bit more aggressive with quick rotations, with playing off your cameras, but a lot of people will go with Nitros with Valk and try to maybe blow somebody up. Caveira. Love that sound. You got the Louison. I don't like a laser on this because I like being able to sprint around, and the ADS speed is so damn fast anyways. It barely matters, and it might give away your positioning. But ADS speed's already so fast, I just don't really care. M12 SMG, if you plan on taking the occasional long-range firefight, be careful because it does do quite a bit of damage, but fire rate is extremely slow. And Spaz, which is an extremely damn good shotgun in close range because of how fast it fires with not much recoil. You can put someone down real quick if you don't want to use your pistol to have to actually precisely shoot them. This just makes it like, I'm spraying at everything and taking it down. And then I would play Impacts as Caveira because I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive. I want quick rotations when I need them. You have Echo. Supernova is not a bad option for Echo. Suppressor or not, like I said, most of the time I'd probably rock no suppressor because I don't like how long the suppressors are on the shotguns. And then you have the MP5. This is probably my go-to personally. It is a really good MP5. I think it is probably the better MP5 among the MP5s because of how it's silenced. And it feels the same as Doc, but I don't know. I feel like I'm more kill effective when I run this MP5 versus like a Doc. And you have the Barry 9, which is always a solid gun. And then you have Impacts or Deployable Shield. Honestly, as Echo, if you plan on playing more on site and using your drones for a lot of the round, Deployable Shield might not be a bad idea. But a lot of times I'll bring Impacts to maybe stop a plant or make an aggressive push, impact something, impact the utility off. Because I'm already bringing a lot of intel with the Yokais. So, Mira, you have the Vector or the Poopy Shotgun. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Run the Vector. Like, why are you running that shotgun? There you go. Flash, do. And then I have the ITA to set up whatever I need because Mira is going to be doing a lot of the site setup if you do have a Mira on your team. And then I'm not sure why you would ever run a Prox and not a Nitro as Mira. It's a pretty obvious one to me. So, Legion, by far my favorite defender in Rainbow Six Siege. And I'm going straight to the T5 because it is an incredible gun. It is one of the better defender guns. No recoil. It is a laser beam. Decent fire rate. That's what I run. And then you have 612. I see a lot of the weirdos running this shotgun because honestly on console, it actually is pretty good. But on PC, people tend to be able to aim a little bit better. So T5 tends to work a little bit better. But the shotgun actually isn't bad because it can put someone down real damn quick if you're not careful. So, but the reason why I don't like running that is because Legion also has access to the Super Shorty, which can be used as a decent shotgun. If you need to whip out a shotgun and use it to kill someone, it's not a terrible idea to use the Super Shorty, and you can set up the site. And then you have the bulletproof or observation blockers. I will always bring a bulletproof camera over observation blockers most days of the week. So, Allah. Couple weird options. It's a shotgun that has an extended barrel. I mean, it makes the shotgun do more damage. I think that's per pellet, so I don't see the reason why you wouldn't make your shotgun want it to do more damage. So, to me, I feel like you have to run extended barrel, but that's just me. And then you have the Scorpion, which is a pretty good SMG. It can be a little bit of a runaway Bronco with recoil sometimes, but hey, it's all good. Her pistol. And then you have actually a couple decent options. Again, Ella is one of those operators where if you need to bring a shield, she's not a terrible pick because you can slow them down with Ella. So deployable shield isn't bad. Or impacts, if you plan on playing really aggressive with Ella, impacts aren't a bad idea. So most of the time I am going to swap between these. If I'm playing more competitive, if I bring in Ella, it's probably because I need the shield. Vigil. K1A or the Bashi. Personally, I don't understand why you would run Vigil and run the K1A. It's not a bad gun. There's nothing against it. It's a decent SMG that I would be fine with on any other operator other than Vigil. But I'm running the Bashi because I want to be able to put someone down in a second. You're probably going to be ADS if you even use the Bashi. If you're ADSing while someone's already shooting at you, you're already dead, so there's no point of a laser. I run Bashi with the SMG-12. Boom, boom, boom. Vigil is an annoying powerhouse on these tiny little angles because he basically one-shots anyone that shows up. And the SMG-12 as decent backup, full auto. Then impacts, because I mean Vigil, you're playing aggressive. Let's be real. You're playing mad aggressive. Maestro. I mean, you could run the ACS 12 slug shotgun if you want. It's kind of like a DMR, so it's not a terrible thing to do. But as one of the better, if not the best, defending LMG in the game, I don't see the reason not to run the Alda if you are playing Maestro. This thing rips people apart, and people used to be crutches on this gun when this thing had an ACOG. It doesn't have an ACOG anymore, but it is still basically the same gun as it used to be. Just the hip fire got slightly nerfed. Then you have the Bailiff or the Keratos. I bring the Bailiff for side setup, but the Keratos is a nice damn pistol, but I bring the Bailiff to set up the site. And then you have Impacts, Barb. Most of the time I'll bring Impacts because Maestro, I'm on my camera. Impacts if I have to really make a play. Open up a wall and come out swinging with an LMG as a 3 armor. It's kind of nice. Alibi, you have the MX Storm or the ACS 12. I don't see the reason I'm playing Alibi unless you're running the Storm because you are a 3-speed. Not really, if you're ADS, you're about the same speed as with any gun. Alibi, 3-speed. I'm bringing the gun that has more speed, and I'd probably rock a laser on it. ACS. And then you have the option of Bailiff and the Keratos. Again, Bailiffs set up the site. If you're going to be running around like a psycho, you might as well at least help set up the site. And then you have the choice between observation blockers or procs. Procs will actually give you some util. Observation blockers are a little bit more eh. Now you have Clash. You have Super Shorty, SPS, SMG, which is what I would be rocking out most of the time, and then the pistol. So there's an argument to be made that Clash with a Super Shorty can be decent because you are at close range. You can like turn your back to someone to put your shield away and pull out the Super Shorty and just pump them. It can be good, but it is a little bit more of a troll maneuver. This is just a lot more reliable to actually kill someone as Clash. So that's probably what I'm going with. But, and I would probably almost always bring impacts to just help with the damage of this, or like an Osa shield, impact trick something. You can bring a deployable shield with a Clash, and honestly, that's kind of annoying for the attacker to deal with. So, a couple decent little options that make Clash a little bit better, but I definitely like running this. If I have to bring out a gun, I want a gun that I can actually wipe an entire squad with. Now we have Cade, another one of my favorite operators in Rainbow Six Siege. You have the AUG. I love this AUG, but it got the kiss of death, and it doesn't have an ACOG anymore. I love it when it had an ACOG. Now I tend to rock this gun. Think of this as a pseudo DMR. It is basically a DMR, but it's a slug shotgun. I don't run a laser on this because chances are, if you're not ADS'd already, I mean, the laser isn't going to save you, and I want to be able to hold an angle for a while without giving away my positioning. Then I have the revolver. I like to use the revolver if I need to really kill somebody. I want something that's going to do as much damage as possible. I don't like running revolvers. I don't like this pistol fully, but this pistol is a non-option for me at least. This, I can maybe make something happen. If I hit someone once with a shotgun, I run out of ammo, I can bring out the revolver and probably take down at least one more person because I'm going for body shots with this. I'm a body shot Pepis. 78 damage. I'm not going for headshots. And then Nitro Cell. Why would you not? Now we got little Mozzie. Commando, Roni. Roni isn't a bad gun, but mag size is pretty poopy. The Commando is a really damn good. I even had an extended barrel on it. I've been a little bit of a psycho, but it's a pretty stable gun. So, I mean, you can run that or you can run Flash Header. It's up to you. I mean, most people would probably run Flash, but I'm going to leave it on the extended barrel because I like the idea that it does 40 damage. But a lot of people will run the Roni. I'd probably run the Commando in some capacity if I needed to go Mozzie. But when do you really need to go Mozzie? Nitro. You want to go Mozzie because you want to go Mozzie. Sorry, a lot of talking. Warden. Okay, this is a tough call because he has some decent options. Most of the time, you're going to see a Warden player bring the shotgun with an SMG-12 It's the smoke shotgun, mute shotgun, and then the SMG-12. I'd probably run a laser on this because I'm going to be going a little bit more hot. But if this is my only option of long range weaponry, I will take the laser off because if they're close, I'm bringing this out. If they're long, I'm going to have plenty of time to ADS that anyways. MPX, if I run MPX on Warden, I mean, here it is, but I don't know. I feel like the shotgun is and the SMG-12 is a better fit for Warden in the current meta. But here's a deployable shield. Warden does have a shield, so if you want to play like an elbow position, you can run this. They can't really flash you out. You're Warden. Or you can run a Nitro. Most of the time, at least in ranked, if I can run a Nitro, I'm probably running a Nitro. Goyo! You got the Vector and Cade's shotgun. I mean, I've set this up because I don't ever really use it. Because the Vector is a really damn good SMG. It is really good. The fire rate is insane. I think it's the fastest fire rate gun in the game, if not like close to SMG-12. But a lot more reliable. Look at that recoil. As long as you pull down, it's mostly just going straight up. Here's the pistol. I like to run impacts to set off my fires if I can't see them, or to play aggressive. Because Goyo, you are kind of a powerhouse with the frag department running around with that. Well, I really, 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 really want to be able to use this AUG instead of the MP5, but I just feel like the MP5 is more reliable. So here's that. But if you feel like you're an AUG lover on Wamai, I mean, it's not a terrible gun. It can be really damn good. Like this thing, I mean, look at the damage, fire rate and damage. I mean, it's an assault rifle on defense. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but I'm not giving the AUG another shot, but the MP5K is a more stable, reliable weapon. Keratos. P12. You run the Keratos just for a couple lines of sight because it does do a decent destruction to walls. So I would run the Keratos for that. And then impacts, I tend to run impacts. So make an aggressive play if I need to. Oryx. I mean, I love Legion. So T5, same setup as Legion. I mean, it's the same gun. Oryx can get away with running the shotgun, but honestly, I don't really feel it's necessary because, I mean, if you really want to run a shotgun, a bailiff close range still does wonders, and you can also set up the sight. I mean, you can set up the sight with your ability, putting goddamn yourself through the wall, but there you go. I like to run bar because I am going to probably be leaving the site. I want my team to have something to help them hold it when I'm up there. Malusi. I hate how they did Malusi bad and made her 3 armor, but here we are. There you go. Super 90. I don't recommend running this shotgun. This is a shotgun that can be effective on an operator that's faster. She's not fast. I would just run the MP5. And then you have the ITA to set up the sight. Impacts are bulletproof. 3 armors. I need destruction so I can get back to where I need to go. I run impacts. Aruni. One of the best defender DMRs in the game, if not the best. I mean, Two-Brow, but we'll get to him. But MK14, I mean, or the Roni, I don't see the reason why you'd run the Roni over the MK14. It's just a way better option. You can run laser or no laser. I like to run laser because I tend to move around a lot as a Runi because I'm not afraid to take those pixel fights when I have the DMR. But if you tend to hold more just like one angle at a time, maybe take the laser off so you can hold it more effectively. I run a muzzle. Here's my Roni, but I don't really plan on ever playing the Roni on Roni. So PRB. You may end up having to use this pistol when it comes down to a DMR. Sometimes you will have to whip out the pistol. So make sure you love it. It's the same pistol on Nomad, so I have a lot of practice with this pistol. So bulletproof or barbed wire. Most of the time, I'm gonna bring barbed wire, but there are a lot of times where I want to hold a specific angle, like a long range outside angle. So I'll bring a bulletproof to kind of help hold the other side or the side that I'm currently holding. So really, it's kind of pick your poison there and what you plan on doing. Thunderbird, the gun I probably use the most on attack, the spear, but it is a defender form of it. I'm not a massive fan of this gun, especially without an ACOG. So, but it is an assault rifle on defense. So, and you have a Spaz 12. I mean, you can get away running the Spaz 12 on Thunderbird because you do have that bearing 9 option. You could run Spaz 12, right? And then run the bearing 9. To me, that makes sense. That's not a bad combo. I've seen people do this, especially with the heels. It's kind of nice. It can be fairly effective. I'd probably run something like this personally, but that's just me. Sight setup. And then a better gun. Then you have the choice between deployable shield, barb, or bulletproof. The only way that I see myself ever really bringing a Thunderbird is because I need a shield. So, and I don't want to go Frost. Or someone else went Frost. So, there you go. Thorn. Again, one of the better SMGs in the game. Really damn good gun. I mean, you can get away with running extended barrel on this if you want. It's up to you, but I just want this thing to be as stable as possible. M870, honestly, really damn good shotgun. Up to you on how you want to run that. Because you do have a decent backup SMG, but again, it's is iron sights, so it is a little bit tricky with Thorn. You have suppressor or not, so I'd probably run this with the C75. You could run shotgun with the C75, but as a long range option, it's still not a good long range option. And then shield or barb. If I'm running Thorn, it's primarily only to bring a shield. So Azami, one of the best, if not the best defender in the game. 9x19. It's a really damn good SMG. You're not really going to go wrong with this. Or you have the crazy thing, the slug shotgun thrower, which I don't fully recommend. I would just run the 9x19, but there you go if you want to run that. And then the Deagle, the golden Deagle with the suppressor, because why not? You need it to make lines of sights. Shotgun if you want to, if you really do want to make like rotations and everything by yourself, but you still want to play as zombie barriers. But I'm going to hope that someone else can make, rotations. If not, I can just do it with my impacts. So now we have Solis, P90, pump shotgun. Honestly, it's tough call between these, but I would run the P90 with the SMG11, pure firepower, and then I'd probably run procs just to, if I plan on holding a specific area of the map, it will help me be able to throw those on the fly. Fenrir, MP7, we've gone over. Super damn good gun. Nothing wrong with it. We have the sausage shotgun. I'm more of a SMG over shotgun player personally. And you also will have access to the bailiff. I actually love Fenrir's little weapon kit. I don't know why I don't play more Fenrir, honestly. Then you have a bulletproof camera. No barb anymore, but a bulletproof camera is still going to be pretty effective. Tuberel, the best defender DMR in the game because it 2-taps everything. It is a really damn good DMR. You're going to see a lot of people complain that people are DMR crutches as Tuberel. So there you go. Here's the MPX, which is also, it's the MPX. It's a good gun, but I love the DMR. And then the pistol. And then, obviously, Tuberel, you're bringing a nitro. Scopos, not much to say here, but here's the loadout for the P7 PCX. Here's the pistol and the impacts. And that is all the attachments for every single operator in the game. We did it. We got through every single one in one take. My voice is leaving me, but we did it. We're here. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, throw a like. I appreciate you guys. Let me know what you guys want to see me do next time. See you later. Hey.